Hear me? Test, test. Check, check, check. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Test, test, test. Check, check, check. All right. Let's do this, guys. Have a good day. Test, test, test. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Yichang Challenger. Let's take a look at the rules first. Half court, one hoop, two teams, a 3 and a sub, a 12-second shot clock. First team to 21 wins or the best after 10 minutes. My name is Boz Rosendahl. I'll be your host today for this knockout round here from Yichang, China. These are your games. Raudondvaris, Hoptrans taking on New York Harlem. Marijampole and Saitama meeting up in the second quarterfinals. Then Paris looking to continue their excellence against Kandava Turība in a rematch of the quarterfinals in Hamburg just 3 days ago. And then Hangzhou and Barcelona lace them up for the last one. And as you know, there's 4 spots for the Manama Masters up for grabs. There is also a big bag of prize money and an MVP award at the end of the line today. And we'll be with you live all day until right around 8:30 local time, where we crown our winners of the Zigui Yichang Challenger 2024 and the FIBA Pro Circuit Challenger number 19 out of 22. We only got 3 challengers left on the year. Bunch of World Tours left, though, which is something these teams want to get to. As you can see, the weather out here in Yichang, beautiful today, but most of the heat will be brought onto court as all these teams are looking to bring their A game. 8 out of the top 8 seeds still alive, which is unique. Usually you see one or two drop out, but all of your top 8 seeds making it through to the knockout rounds. Your seeds 1 through 4 actually winning the pools, and seeds 5 through 8 going 1-1 and making sure they were active here today. The crowd is out here as well. Look at the beautiful backdrop close to the 3 gorgeous dam out here in Yichang. And again, these teams are looking to bring the heat. Some very, very interesting matchups. Again, a rematch of the Hamburg Challenger quarterfinals between Paris and Kandava Turība. Raudondvaris taking on New York Harlem for the first time in 5 years. These teams have been active on the pro circuit for so long, but can you believe they haven't seen each other in 5 years of action? Marijampole Mantinga looked very good, so we got 2 Lithuanian teams representing out here in the knockout rounds. None of the Chinese teams made it through today, too. And last but not least, well, actually, Hangzhou made it through. That is a Chinese squad. And last but not least, we got the Hangzhou squad taking on a feisty Barcelona team. That's a matchup I am looking forward to. I got that one circled as one of the more interesting quarterfinals of today. Actually, all of the games are going to be interesting, as you know. So get ready as we continue the quest for the winners of the Yichang Challenger 2024. The teams are ready. They are getting warmed up as we speak. And I will be back with you right when the games start. Don't you go anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now getting ready for the first match introduction. Are you ready? It's 3x3 time. Ladies and gentlemen, fetch the match now. We are begin. First, let's welcome from Lithuania, Raudondvaris Hoptrans, number 5, Vinkelis. Number 3, Vadas Zigui. Number 8, Modestus Guppies. Number 7, Arulis Hukilis. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Raudondvaris Hoptrans. 女士们、先生们，来自立陶宛的劳东德瓦里斯队。And let's the applause for the friends from the U.S., ladies and gentlemen. 来自美国的纽约哈莱姆队 ，Number 6, Marcel Esomoni. Number 3, Christopher Mosley. Number 2, Kitami Brutus. And number 5, Dominic Jones. 来，我们掌声再一次欢迎来自美国的纽约哈莱姆队。好了，现在是 toss and time， 也就是挑边优先选择进攻权的时间。那么也很荣幸为您介绍本场比赛的技术官员 （Technical Official from China）。施启荣 and from Romania, Lavinia, your game.
So Wune and Pukelis for sure to be clashing underneath that basket. And Pukelis, you know, he's one of the more gifted offensive big men in all of 3x3. But Eso Wune, a defensive stalwart, has been for years. Again, 4 blocks to his name yesterday. So that is going to be an interesting clash underneath the basket. The 2 dynamic guards for New York Harlem, Disco Damo and Kidani Brutus, are going to be matched mainly with Vingelis and Kumpis. Chagas will do his well there. So we'll see how these teams match up. Again, record-wise and also excellence-wise this year, Raudondvaris for sure drawing the most attention out of the two, and they have the best papers, I'd say. But New York Harlem ain't nothing to snuff at. We've seen them win in the past. They've been excellent. Let's see if they can continue or at least get back to some of that. Start off the 10-minute sprint. Raudondvaris called for a foul right away. Here we go. Disco Damu to Brutus. Brutus on the move. He's looking at Pukelis. Crosses right to left, all the way to the cup, and the lefty lay is good. So Kidani Brutus starting things off like he did yesterday. Kumpis out to Jaugas. Jaugas on the drive. Challenges Esso Wune underneath the basket, and that drops. So both teams on the board early. Disco Damo splash ball. Disco Damo, again, not his best tournament just yet. 3 of 13 from long range yesterday. Manages to knock down his first. And that is going to be key to New York Harlem making a deep run here. If him and Kidani Brutus can shoot, that is going to spell trouble for the other teams. Mosley now on the move. Jaugas pokes that Wilson away. Looks like he might have jammed his finger on the play there. Evil Knievel knows no fear, as you know. He continues to play. Mosley now fading on the shot off the glass. Pretty make. Back to Vingalis. 43% from two yesterday and continuing that trend. Šarūnas Vingalis, the sniper for this Lithuanian squad, but there's Disco Damo with the answer right away. The little man from New York on fire to start. 2 of 2 from long range. Look out now. Again, this is a formula that's worked in the past. Just give him the rock and let him cook. Vingalis to Pukelis underneath the basket. Gets it back to Vingalis. Looks like he had an open layup. Uh-oh. Vingalis matching Disco Damo's production to the 2-point line. Šarūnas keeping his team in things. 4 points apiece for him and Disco Damo. All coming from beyond the 2-point arc. Now Jaugas on the drive. Past Mosley. Bump and a bucket. And Raudondvaris takes a 1-point lead. Evil Knievel on the stripe. An opportunity to add to it. A 2-point lead as a result. Back to the team in green, New York Harlem. They haven't played all that much this year. Uh-oh, Disco Damo's feeling it like a shrink visit. This man's on fire. Let's get it. Pukelis with the answer. Back iron. And a whistle on the play. So a reset and a fresh 12 for the Lithuanian side. They go with screening action for Vingalis, who is wide open. And again, this is not the man you want to leave open. An offensive shootout here. It's high noon at Yichang. Uh-oh. It's a Wune. Haven't seen him do that much. A fader. Jaugas hasn't hit a 2-all tournament. Continuing the trend here. The whistle on a rebound. Oh. So that whistle on Raudondvaris Hoptrans. Some confusion among the players. Disco Damo knew what's up. He already set up shop on top, receiving the check here. They're going to play for Brutus. And a travel on the play. Had to shuffle his feet on that one. Turnover as a result. Possession back over to Raudondvaris. Jones. Looking at Kumpis. Gets the switch he wants. Lines another one up, and this man's hotter than desert sand. New York Harlem. They're down 1 point, though. This is an offensive shootout, and now Damo into Hurt Locker. Bukele's very active. Gets that Wilson back, and there's Joggers. They take on Damo yet again. They want to exploit that mismatch. Brutus now on the drive. An answer for New York Harlem is left on the glass. There's Bukele's yet again. They shuffle it to Kumpis, and some miscommunication on New York Harlem, who showed a mental lapse there. Now they're looking at a 4-point deficit. We've only been playing for 3 minutes and a bit, but again, this is a high-paced offensive contest here as both teams barely missing shots from the field. First TV timeout for everybody to get a breather, including myself. What a game to start this day of knockout action here in Yichang. Taking a look. Brutus got to start it with a lefty lay. And then Joggers with the spinning hook. Disco Damo and Sharunas Vingelis then went toe for toe and started knocking down a bunch of twos. And there's Joggers who got the bump and the bucket to go down. Damo with the answer. A pretty teardrop floater. Look, here we are. Raudondvaris up 4, and New York Harlem looking for an answer. Even though they've played an excellent offensive game, well, Mosley cuts the deficit to 3. And now again, the Lithuanians go at Disco Damo in the post. That is a mismatch. He is vertically challenged, they say, slightly. Teams want to go at him. What a pass, but Brutus can't handle the Wilson. He spins into action, a hook shot, and it rolls off the rim. So the strategy for Raudondvaris coming very clear here. Joggers or Bukelis are going to go and hunt Disco Damo, who's taking a seat now. So the mismatch is off the floor. There's Kumpis challenging the landlord. Oh, my goodness. Up and over Escawune. Oh, wow. He just put it on his neck. Incredible play by flight mode. Modestus Kumpis bringing the boom. Oh, my. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. 15-10, and we've been at it for a little over 4 minutes. Mosley coming back with a dunk. Still a 2-possession game. New York Harlem isn't out of this. But can they recover from that Modestus Kumpis smash? As flight mode brought down the house, that might have been the poster of the year. Oh, wow. Joggers on the cut. And Damo with the foul. I was going to say, we got to take a look at that dunk again. This is a replay of the last play. Joggers on the free throw stripe. That's the 5th foul on New York Harlem. Joggers not connecting from the stripe. So another option here for Mosley to cut the lead, and he does. 15-12 as a result. We're approaching the halfway mark, but with this pace, we're not making it to the end of the 10 minutes. Kumpis gets his cookies took. Mosley on the drive again. This time he goes right, fades away, but nothing on the end of that. Joggers spins into action past Mosley. So crafty, up and in. And a foul on the clear. So Raudondvaris will take their 6th foul here. They are at the bonus. Next defensive foul will mean 2 free throws for the team from New York. Might be a way for them to get back into things. Damo has been a little quiet the last few minutes. Lobs it up. Escawune stuck underneath the basket, but gets it up and in. Vingelis in the step back. Silky smooth jumpers missed, though. Escawune controls the glass. Damo crossing left or right, lines up a 2. Here's that mismatch we were talking about. They keep going to it. An efficient way to get easy points. Damo is not putting up much of a fight down there, especially because they're close to the foul trouble. He tries to answer with a 2. Not making it. And then a whistle on the floor. Judging by the look on Bruce's face, this whistle was on New York Harlem. That's foul number 6. So both teams at the bonus. Koopies. Back to Joggers. Joggers is left wide open. Splash ball and 1. Joggers hadn't hit a 2 before this all tournament, but right when it matters, he splashes 1 and he gets an opportunity with 2 more free throws at the stripe to end the game. And we've been at it for 5.5 minutes. Wow, my math was off. 5.5 minutes. What a shootout. Joggers splashes the first, 20 points on the board for Raudondvaris. Next one could bring Raudondvaris to semifinals berth and knock out New York Harlem's hopes to get to the Manama Masters. Joggers. Uh-oh. Not too cold on that one, but they get the possession back. There's a mismatch under the basket. There's Pukelis. It looks like there might be an offensive foul called there. There is. So that is number 7 on Raudondvaris. Actually, it might be 3 in the key anyway. Possession back to New York Harlem. Disco Damo. They got a huge deficit to work on, and Damo fading and making off the glass. Now he has to guard in the post. Game point. Joggers. Righty hook. Gets the rebound back, but it's tapped out. Looks like New York Harlem might gain another possession here. We've gotten to our second TV timeout. That is something in a game this fast. Because, wow, it's been all offense all day. Take a look at flight mode clearing Eso Wune. Wow. Mosley with an answer, but flight mode. Filthy. Here we go again. New York Harlem, they need buckets and stops. Buckets they can get. We know that. Brutus, another lay. This time they need a stop, though. It's game point, and it's the Lithuanian in the post. Most lethal offensive option, I think, in maybe all of 3x3. Gets the rock to Kumpis, and Kumpis ends it. Raudondvaris Hoptrans, another top 5 finish. We already know that. Now it's a matter of can they get into the top 3 and maybe into the finals. We'll see later on in the semifinals. New York Harlem's hopes are snuffed out by an incredible game from the Lithuanians. Y'all enjoy the highlights.
机会，我们给近水楼台先得月，由常胜川准备的金砖茶，有没有我们的观众想要？好的，那么在这个环节呢，我们送出一份，但是是一个小小的有奖问答，有没有人愿意参加？ 动的时间了。3、2、1 ，Ladies and gentlemen, now let's second match. First, let's welcome Marijampole,
Number 2 on deck, and there's your leading scorer on the tournament. Kostas Shulsk is leading on day 1 with 18 points total, 9 points per game. This squad, Marijampole Mantinga, leads the field in rebounds. That man snagged 7.5 rebounds a game. Zigimantis Shimonis, joined by Ignas Labutis and Tautvidos Klienčinikas. This is your second Lithuanian team in the quarterfinals. Marijampole Mantinga, their number 4 seed coming into play here. And they face a team from Japan, the Saitama Alphas Exi.
Number 6, Raudondvaris.
Jan Demsar, joined by Goran Bilic, Devin Gilligan, and Rio Ozawa. Demsar led them in scoring yesterday. They grabbed the most offensive rebounds out of any team in the field, so this is going to be a battle of the boards. A lot is going to come down to the shooting from the outside. Marijampole Mantinga, a better percentage so far. But Ozawa can go off in a hurry, and we know that. Qidongxi and Chuinglong, your referees representing China and Singapore in this one. As we get 10-minute sprint number 2 out of 7 on the day underway. Again, a quest for the Manama Masters to be held November 1st and 2nd out there in Bahrain. And these teams are hopeful to qualify. Their top 3 will qualify to Manama. And the Saitama Alphas looking to sneak into that top 3 for sure. As is Marijampole. Marijampole, the story of the year so far for them has been that they've come up short almost every single challenger that they've played. And they've played a bunch. Best they've done so far this year, a 4th place finish at the Chang'an Challenger, also in China, also a little bit over a month ago. Besides that, they've been exiting games in the quarterfinals mainly, in pool play a couple of times. So if they can put it together, and I think they have so far in this tournament, they are poised to make a bit of a run here. I think this game favors them. These teams have not met up, but style-wise and I think also performance-wise, judging on yesterday's games, Marijampole, the team to beat in this one. The team in green, of course. We'll see, though. Again, Ozawa can go off in a hurry. Gilligan didn't have his most scoring efficient day yesterday, as he usually is the one to lead Saitama in scoring. But we'll see. Saitama starts possession here. Off to the races right away. A pass is tapped out, though. Shimonis with the quick hands. Back to it. Demsar out to Ozawa. Ozawa on the move. A righty scoop off the glass, and Saitama on the board. Shimonis lines up a 2 splash ball, and this is the X factor for this Marijampole squad. Zigimantis Shimonis, a good shooter, but has not been shooting well this year. A little bit over 20% from long range. Did manage to knock a few down yesterday. But again, if he gets going, and trust me, I have seen him get going in the past, but if he gets going, this Marijampole squad is so tough to beat. Shimonis looks for Klienčinikas, a whistle on the play. Reset then for Marijampole. High post action. Back to Shimonis. Another from the same spot. And the same result. 2 makes from long range to start the game. Ozawa with the answer, though. Oh, we're splashing out here. 3-2s down to start this game in the first minute. We already had an offensive shootout in the first quarterfinals. We might get another one in the second quarterfinals as well. Labutis to Klienchinikas. He lines up at 2, joins the party. Oh, we got more deuces and Japanese selfies out here. Gilligan on the move. Flips it back. There's Bilic. Can't get it to go. Back to the Lithuanians. Shulskis wide open to the rack. This is why he led the field in scoring. Besides a couple of 2s to go down, he's been main one. Rolling off of ball screens for Marijampole. So nifty going to the basket. 1, sometimes 2 screens, and he gets open. Saitama. We get another shot from Ozawa. Told you he can go off. Ozawa splashes his second 2-ball. And both teams living beyond the arc in this one. Another shootout in Yichang. 7-5 after a minute and a half of play. Mind you, this game goes to 21. We're a third of the way there. Simone on the cut this time. It's snuffed out. Demsar picks his toe up off the line. Lines a 2 up. He can't join the party. Not yet. Shimonis to a cutting Shulskis. And they extend the foul just to get a little breather. Shulskis saw he was beat. Grabbed Bilic and made sure that he couldn't get to the basket. Check ball as a result. Oh, Demsar. Took him another try. Working on them offensive rebounding stats. There's Klienchinikas on the move. Float game, no good. Marijampole sets up shop up top. Ziggy Montes, Shimonis, same spot. This time he missed it, though. They get their own rebound. I told you there's going to be a battle of the boards, and so far it has been Marijampole grabbing more of them. Get ball violation, so a fresh 12 for the team in green. And a reset in play action. Shulskis back out there. Labutis takes his seat. Klienchinikas a sidestep 2-ball. No good. Gilligan. Wondering when Gilligan is going to go to the hoop. Usually he does a lot of that. See him put his head down and try to move people. Shulskis opting for a drive this time. The game tied at 8. It remains tied. Ozawa. Oh, the ball movement, but there's a hand in there. Shimonis breaks up the play. Would have been a Demsar score for sure. And back to it. Labutis faces up. Looking for Klienchinikas. He's on the move. No room for a shot. He opts to step back into the shot clock. Almost a rebound again for the Lithuanians. Oh, there's Schulskis. Wide open for another layup. And again, for a player who doesn't create a lot of his own shots, it is beautiful to see how Schulskis gets open time and time again off of screens and cuts and misdirection. Only missed 2 shots from inside the arc yesterday. And again, continuing that trend, this time is fouled on the drive. So we'll take his challenge to the free throw stripe. Third foul on Saitama. No one close to the bonus just yet as we approach the 4-minute mark. Oh, that's in and out. Took all of the rim. A foul on the play underneath the basket. Is holding on to his chest. Might have gotten a little extracurricular contact there. And it does seem like there's a foul extended to the Japanese team, Saitama, at 4 fouls. And possession back over to Marijampole Mantinga. With an opportunity to extend that 1-point lead a little bit. The referees are taking a look at the footage to be sure. But nothing upgraded. So a regular foul, 4-2 it stands in fouls, 9-8 it stands in scores. Marijampole on the up and up in this one. Backdoor cut, and there's a boom. Labutis gets up for the one-hand spike. An answer for Demsar. Saitama sticking close in this one. Leon Chinikas from the 3x3 logo. Nuh-uh. Rebound back over to the Saitama Ofas. Ozawa, we haven't heard from him in a bit. Kicks it. Bialic lefty stroke is broke, but Demsar there to clean up the tip. Oh, but there's a whistle. Look again as Demsar snags the board. There's calls for a shot clock violation, though. So it might be that. The whistle on the floor, taking that point off the board. 10-9 is your score here. Gilligan. Lines went up from long range. He's been not as active as usual, Devin Gilligan. Shimonis. Spins, falls, and a 1. The bucket and the bump to boot. Foul number 5 on Saitama. Shimonis wills himself to that bucket. Somehow gets it through. Gilligan again. Looking at Labutis. Using his speed to get by Labutis. And now he has an option from the free throw stripe. This is what we used to seeing from Devin Gilligan. He puts his head down after a quick cross. Gets to the cup. The layup is good. And a foul to boot. You can see Labutis put his hands to his heads. What can you do? Much needed score for Saitama as well to stick close to Marijampole in points. 12-10, could be 12-11. Chinikas. broken up. Ozawa in possession of the Wilson. They swing it around. Bialic fouled on the attempt. Marijampole now racking up some fouls. 4 of them to be exact till this point. It is going to put Bialic back on the free throw stripe and an option to tie the game. Bialic, no good on the free throw. There, Schultz gets wide open underneath the basket. Way to stick around, keep that contact, and finish the lay. With a foul. Time clean Chinikas with the extracurricular activity. Both teams approaching the bonus. Demsar, splash ball, ties the game at 13. Abuti's back to Shimonis. Shimonis behind the back, lines up another 2. Hit the first 2 he attempted, but hasn't been able to connect just since. Schultzkis somehow gets everybody to just move out of the way. Hope you guys saw the misdirection on Vitautas Schultzkis, who just, I guess, used a pass fake, but everybody just stepped out of his way so he could get a layup. Cross screen play then for Marijampole, who tried to get Labutis to look underneath the basket. Held up, so 6th foul on Saitama. And they run a different option out of that play. This time it's clean Chinikas looking at Labutis, who is wide open. Pretty play action here for the Lithuanians. Well thought of plays. Gilligan behind the back. He's tricky like Run DMC. 15-14. And a steal to boot. An option here to tie the game. Gilligan. Whistle on the floor. A foul called. That's gotten us to our second TV timeout in a close game so far. Marijampole has taken a bunch of leads, but Saitama keeps fighting back like a little brother. And we are with about 3:40 left to go in a 1-possession game for a spot in the semifinals out here in Yichang. Gilligan puts his head down. Gives it up to Ozawa, who's wide open. Contact on the play. No whistle, but a 2's down. And the Japanese take a 1-point lead. Clean Chinikas to the rack, lays it up, and ties it again. This game has more turns than a mountain road. Gilligan into Demstar. Beautiful pick and roll action. Saitama in the advantage now. 2-ball missed by Clean Chinikas. Rebound back out to Marijampole. Shimonis fading on the 2-ball. Bang, bang. Gilligan now lobs it into Demstar to tie the game again. Looked like a shot, but it ends up being a pass. No whistle on that. Chinikas trying to get contact. Look at that. There's your tournament's leading scorer. Flying in like Spider-Man for that rebound. Taking a hit. And finishing the shot to boot. Possibly a 3-point play for Schultzkis. 2 free throws coming up, and they could seal the deal on Saitama's hopes to make it to Manama. Schultzkis misses the first one. Door is still open. Second shot is made. So game point, Marijampole. Saitama, they need a bucket. Ozawa. Damstar coming away with the board. Back to Ozawa. Damstar wide open. Saitama needed 2 to win, but they need to stop first. Schulskis looking to attack Ozawa. That's a mismatch. And Schulskis gets Marijampole. Their second semifinals berth of the season. They take care in a tight one of the Saitama Alphas, 21-19, and move into the top 4 here in Yichang. Enjoy the highlights. Quarterfinal number 3 on deck. It's a rematch of the quarterfinals in the Challenger that just happened 3 days ago in Hamburg. Paris and
gentlemen, it's
up yet again.
Let's welcome from France.
That game was won by Paris, and it was because of one guy, Hugo Suhard. There he is, 6-2s he dropped in that game against Kandava just 3 days ago in Germany. They're back to it in Paris, easy peasy, lemon squeezy on day 1, 2 wins, and they've continued their excellence. Third tournament in just 9 days for these fellas. They've been all over the globe. Suhard, not only the leading scorer with Zigui on this squad, also leads the entire field in key assists. So a multifaceted game. He's 50% from 2, 4 of 8 on the tournament in pool play. But they're going up against a very dangerous Kandava squad. Martin Screwman's coming out first. That's baby Crewman's. There's big Crewman's, Edgar's.
Number 5, Zigui
Raimo actually leading the field in player value here. 8 points per game in a uncharacteristic performance for the Latvian big fella. And Francis Lach is the last one to come out. And again, this team, as we already knew was going to happen, they've tried over 50% of their shots from long range, but they've only made 5. 15% shooting from outside. If they manage to up that, they are a very dangerous team. But they have to go up against the multi-headed monster that is Paris. Everybody can go off. Zigui and Suhard both at 6 points per game. Rambo at 5 points per game. And Joko, even though he's a great offensive option, only at 3.5, he wasn't needed on day 1. There's Ignas Davenis. And Letitia George. Or Lavinia George. I apologize. I thought that was Letitia. But I get my names confused sometimes. That's what happens. Anyway, look, both of these teams, again, have played in plenty of knockout round action so far, but kind of almost didn't make it there. They went to overtime against a feisty Brisbane squad where they were almost out. But in true 3x3 fashion, they came back and won the game. That's why they can represent out here. Raimo hasn't missed a shot from inside the arc, by the way. That's why he's at 8 points per game. 15 for 15 for the big fella. Hasn't hit any of his shots from outside the arc, but he has attempted some. And again, a uncharacteristic performance for a player that's usually more into a defensive and athletic role. But he's really stepped it up out here at the Zigui Yichang Challenger. Let's see how they fare against this Paris squad. And 10-minute sprinting we go. First action, Segela almost gets his cookies took in the first second. Rambo back to Segela. And Sekela active right away. 2 zip pairs. Raimo to Lach's. Back down to the big fella. Bumping and grinding, but a travel call on the play. This challenger, 1 of 2 tournaments happening in China simultaneously today. The Wuxi Masters also popping off with the quarterfinals there happening as we speak. If you want to look at all of that action, just hit us up at FIBA 3x3. Wow. Rambo from behind the basket. A difficult hook shot for the big fella. But anyway, follow us at FIBA 3x3 for a look at all of the action from Wuxi from here. And continue to follow us for the last stretch of the season where we have plenty of tournaments for you up right until the end of November, maybe even the start of December if you want to count the Zone Cups that are still happening, the Africa Cup and the AmeriCup that are popping off in December. Oh, splash ball. Paris off to the races. 5-zip to start this game. Crewmans down to Raimo. And a foul on the floor. Joko holding up his hands. Doesn't know what happened. But the first foul on the Parisians. There's Edgar's Krumins lining up a 2. And again, he's a big reason why this team could go off. If he's starting to hit some of his outside shots, he's just over 20%. Seguela can't continue his shooting stroke. Both teams attempt a lot of 2s. We're going for sure to see some shots here. There's a foul called on the play there. Seguela and Krumins got tangled up underneath. Small Krumins, that is. Go, go, go. You heard him. Raimo on the move against Rambo. That's a great matchup. Big versus big. He doesn't even want to switch. He just takes him on and scores. So Kandava finally on the board. And it's their leading scorer, Zigmar's Raimo, to do the job. 5-1 score. There's Joko wide open. Airmails that ball out of bounds. Possession back over to the Latvians, who are again without the services off their leading scorer on the season, Kristaps Gludidis. So hard. He goes so hard. Hugo Suhard is a knockdown shooter, ladies and gentlemen. The man is just unconscious from range. He is a mismatch on the block, though. But, hey, fighting 1s with 2s is never a good idea, and he's the one bringing the 2s. Suhard on the move. This time lobs it up for Rambo, who catches and finishes. Raimo attempting a long-range shot yet again. Again, we haven't seen him hit one, but he has been attempting them with consistency here. Rambo ended his shot clock, and that is going to be a shot clock violation. Krumins off the glass at the end of the shot clock. Edgar's Krumins. Didn't know he had a Chinese bank account, but apparently so. And a much-needed score for Kandava. We're looking at a big deficit. Let me look at that circus shot again. Rambo, I'm not sure if he knows how he managed to get that down, but it was pretty. That was Kandava's first bucket. Raimo putting his head down, getting to the cup, but then Suhard got involved. Splash is for 2. Whistle on the play. Third foul on the Parisians. Fresh 12 for Kandava to work with. Latches been a little bit quiet. Fouled again, and Rambo shaking up on the play. That is foul number 4 on Paris. There's a hand in there. Suhard, possession into Wilson. Joko, they swing it around. Back to Suhard. Suhard stepping back. And in front irons the 2 there. Kandava an option to get close. There's a mismatch. Raimo and Suhard. Suhard just gets out of the way. Doesn't want any piece of that. 8-5 it stands. Segala pick and pop action wide open under. Latches with the answer, though. But Kandava looking at a 4-point deficit. Suhard now in possession of it. Paris scoring at will. Joko flips it behind the head. There's Segala challenging Raimo, and it drops. This Paris team's got more buckets than a leaky roof. Raimo. Why not? Attempting another two. And a take foul on Kandava. Stop action here and make sure that they get a breather. 11-6 the score here after 4.5 minutes of play. You can see this 10-minute sprint takes a lot out of you. These players already have their hands on their knees. Cross screen action on the high post. There's Suhard with possession of the rock. He denies the screen and steps all the way back for another 2-ball. Same recipe as we saw in Hamburg. It's Hugo Suhard with his second 2-ball splash of the game. He had 6 of them in Germany. They're going to continue looking for him. There he is again, number 3. Oh, no. Rebound back over to Latches with a punch. Rambo. That dribble ended up further away from the basket than he started. Latches is deceptively tall. Able to move well for somebody that size. He guards in the post as well. There's Segala attacking Raimo. Raimo, again, one of the better defensive players in the field, but this time a little bit overzealous. Commits a foul on that screen. Third foul on the Latvians. But Paris steadily has taken a 6-point lead here. Option here to extend that as well. They get it to Segala for another look from long range. Oh, well, that's going to end up in the river back there. Fresh 12 for the Latvians. They go with a high post look for Raimo. Latches coming off a handoff. Lines up a 2. It's missed. And again, this Kandava team, I told you, if they start hitting 2s, then they're very dangerous, but they have not been able to hit any 2s. I don't think they've had one go down besides that Crewman's end of the shot clock heave. There's Raimo just running over some A-boards. High post action then for the French. Rambo, rock in hand. Oh, pretty action. And Joko finishes with the hard lay. They've doubled Kandava in scoring now. And again, Kandava, they need some milk. They need some shots to go down from the outside. Another one is missed. Raimo contributing with an offensive rebound and a bucket. Cutting into a deficit like this just off of ones is very tough. Joko, no. It's another try. This time he drives. Joko drives past everyone. He can get a one himself. 15-8. Raimo to Latches. It's snuffed out. The French are back to it. Suhard behind the screen, left to right. Lefty layup is good. Man is crafty enough to be on Etsy. But finally, a long-range shot goes down for Kandava. Might be too little too late, but 16-10. The game ain't over. We'll take a look back at some of the happenings so far. Both teams trying to play that pick and roll as you often do in 3x3. Lach is out there being a lob thread. On the other end, it's Rambo and Segala on the receiving end of those passes. But Paris has been the team to knock down a bunch of twos, and that's been the difference in the game so far. Segala off the screen, a little bit of a look. Small Krumins. A post-up move, gets fouled. So Kandava trying to attack Suhard. Haven't been able to do so consistently. Krumins gets it to a 5-point game. There's Joko on the move, going left. Joko put his head down, but the pass is snuffed out by Raimo, who gets that Wilson back. Possession to Raimo and a layup. So a 2-possession game it is. Joko. They leave him alone to shoot. Joko. Not the worst shooter percentage-wise, but not known to be a long-range shooter like that. Joko on the season shooting 30%, but Kandava showing him no respect and just leaving him wide open. Back to Paris we go. 16-12. We got 2 minutes left on the clock. Segala to the rack. Lays it up and over. Lach's 17-12 as a result. Lach's, can he answer? Oh, Wilson's almost lost. There's Krumins. Bang. 17-14. Only 3 points separate these teams. Joko put his head down and gets to the cup. Back to Krumins. He can drive as well. Scoop-de-doop. Suhard, pick and pop action there. Segala chases down his own board. He already knew it was going to be a miss. Joko. And I might be out of bounds off of Krumins. Let's see if Paris gets possession back here. A timeout on the floor is called. And again, both teams are eager to try to get a semifinals berth and a spot at the Manama Masters. That's what it's all about. Of course, besides that, bag of prize money at the end of the line here. Fire. You see the fire. So Kandava, they need some stops and they need some shots to go down. Even though they haven't hit a lot of twos, they've managed to stick close. Lach just brings it back to a 2-point game with just over a minute left. Paris have slowed down significantly. They try to go to the pick and roll, lob it up to Rambo. He's stuck against Krumins. Faden and a shot clock violation to boot. There's Krumins. He's the one they leave open. Not a good plan. They're tied at 18. Kandava fought themselves all the way back despite a horrid start to the game. They are right back into things. Another turnover for Paris. There's Krumins again. A drive and a make. The Latvians are up. They leave Joko alone, and Joko opts not to shoot. They give him a lot of space. No respect for Paul Joko. Zigui, left to right cross, trying to attack Raimo. Takes his distance. Flash ball. 20 points on the board for the Frenchman. There's Krumens. Tried to end it, couldn't do it. Lotches with the rebound. The two ball will end things. A foul on the play offensively. Oh, no. Kandava turn it over. They almost managed to get the shot they wanted. They missed. They grab a rebound. They get another look with an offensive foul. And now possession is back over to the Parisians. You can see there's some clear contact there. So Paris now, an option to end it. 24 ticks left in this 10-minute sprint. Zigui. And there's going to be some free. Well, never mind. An offensive foul on Paris now. So with 19.5 seconds, the Latvians get possession. They need a 2 to win. If they go for 1, they need another possession and a stop. They go for 2, and they are one of the teams that shoot the most 2s in the field. If they go for 2, they might just put down this red-hot Paris team. Krumens off the screen. He's stuck. He gets it to Raimo. Raimo to Lotches. A deep look for 2. Back iron. 10 ticks on the clock. Paris not in a rush. They can dribble out the clock and win it. There's a foul. That's going to be 2 free throws for Zigui. One of them is enough to end the game. They had to foul to stop the clock because the game clock was under 12, so there was no shot clock, no extra possession for Kandava anymore. The only option you have is to go for a steal or go for a foul. They opt for a foul. Zigui shaking up a little bit on the play. Let's see if the man has some ice in his veins. And Frank's a killer, colder than Frozone. 21-19 Paris. A repeat of the result of the Hamburg Challenger quarterfinals. Kandava once again left on the outside. Paris, move into your top 4 out here in Yichang. Enjoy the highlights. Our last quarterfinals of the day is Hangzhou and Barcelona.
Team Hangzhou 来自中国的杭州队 Number 9 Alexander Bursak.
Alexander Bursak hit his first 2 of the season yesterday. He's joined by their leading scorer, Milan Kovacevic, who's been brilliant. 3 of 6 from long range, 8 points per game. Vladimir Trajkovic and Goran Vidovic round out the Hangzhou squad. There's Mr. Positive. The only Chinese team left in the field with no Chinese players on the roster. As 3 Serbs and a Slovenian player lace them up. They are the hottest shooting team in the field as well, 46% from long range. Not the highest of volumes, but they are very efficient. Not as efficient as this squad, though. Barcelona, the most efficient shooting team in the entire field. It is Blazquez leading the way. This fella right here, 8 points per game. Jaume Zanca, 6 key assists on the day in pool play yesterday. Nil Bria and Wimex Posito round out the Spaniards squad with hopes to make it into the top 4, maybe even the top 3 here. They ran into a 6th spot at the Edmonton Masters earlier this year. Played great in pool play, but then got eliminated in the quarterfinals, and that's where they usually end up. This is their 5th tournament of the 2024 Pro Circuit. They have the talent. Now they just need to get that one statement win. It could be the win over Hangzhou here to move into that top 4. And with an option to try to see if they can get to that Manama Masters, the coveted tickets, 3 of them waiting at the end of the line here. The top 3 teams will pick them up, and we'll go to Bahrain at the start of November. Not to mention the big bag of prize money at the end of that as well. Not just here, Manama. You know, both tournaments have some prize money. That's how we do in 3x3, right? We play in tournaments, and if you win, you get paid. So both teams are getting a little bit more warm-up time here as we get ready to get this 10-minute sprint underway and get our semifinals set. And here we go. 10 minutes is what separates us from knowing who will be in the semis. It's Barcelona starting us off. Exposito. They look for a backdoor cut. Nothing there. Wild shot is missed. And possession back over to the Chinese side. Hangzhou with their first offense coming up after the check. There's Vidovic. Looking for Kovacevic right away. And again, this is what's been working for them so much. Kovacevic, 8 points per game, mostly off of pick and roll action. One-on-one take by Zanca is snuffed out. There is Kovacevic again. A rare miss underneath the basket. And then a whistle on the play as Blazquez was pushed off the line. First foul on Hangzhou. Free throws coming up for Barcelona to try to get on the board. No score just yet for the Spaniards. Trajkovic. Kovacevic on the move. Righty scoop is good. 2-zip Hangzhou. Zanca by himself. That counts. A foul, though, on the play. Score is down. Curious to see who that foul is on. It looked like it might be a Hangzhou foul yet again. That means that Barcelona is going to get possession back. Sure, foul's not showing up on the board. Anyway, possession back to the Spaniards. They're on the board with a score. Second score we're still waiting on. Well, there we go. Zanka scrapping and clawing, getting the score tied at 2. There we go. Vidovic spinning into action. Blocked, though. Exposito with the good hands. And he's fouled right away. Vidovic complaining to the referee. That is foul number 3, and I think he might have been hit with a tech as well. There you go. Neil Bria lines up for the technical free throw. So 4 quick fouls on Hangzhou after that technical. Exposito. Ball screen action. He takes it to the rack. Lefty scoop is missed. So we switch teams here, and Hangzhou, they go into their patented pick and roll action. And a lot of teams do this, but they've been effective, again, mainly due to the hard work of Milan Kovacevic, who's been excellent this tournament. Here goes Kovacevic again, rumbling and bumbling, gets his own rebound and puts it back in to get the score tied at 3. Blasquez, a wild take, but it goes in. He just puts his head down and tries to get to the cup. I like the way he plays. Whatever he can find at the end of that drive, he will take. This time it was a scoop. Trajkovic on the other end, the miss. Trajkovic has been a little bit quiet in this tournament. We've seen him excel at scoring in the past, but so far not the most efficient output on the tournament. Not needed to with Kovacevic being this good. Vidovic lines up a 2, back iron, but splash, 5-4. Uh-oh. 7-4. 2 start falling. Barcelona need an answer. Nothing there for Blasquez, but a whistle on the play. So Jose Blasquez on the strike. And he gets the score back within 2. Vidovic. Can he do it again? He lines up another one. Oh, good. Kovacevic missed the tip in. High post action now. Handoff for Vidovic. Good defense. So Kovacevic throws it away. Green Exposito has shown the ability to hound players. Quick hands, long arms. He's all up in your grill all the time. Exposito this time opts to take a drive. Barcelona, again, just like yesterday's action, they're close in almost every game. Oh, Trajkovic crossed him off the map. Shot though, but there's an and one for Kovacevic. Big board for the Slovenian. And a foul to boot. Blasquez, you can't believe that. Look again. It's Exposito drive first. I think we're going to get a second look at that. But again, Hangzhou up 2. We've gotten to our first TV timeout. A free throw coming up after we get back. There goes Kovacevic. That was Barcelona's third foul. So only one free throw coming up here. Kovacevic, back iron. Rebound is tapped around. There's a bunch of bodies on the floor, but it's with Exposito, Barcelona. Sanka lines up a 2-ball. I think if you want to knock Barcelona's game is the fact that they haven't been able to shoot it all that well. And this on the season. Not the most efficient shooting team. We'll get back to the free throw stripe here, though. As a team in yesterday's action, Barcelona, again, one of the more efficient shooting teams in the entire field. They hit 7 of 17 twos, which is 41% for you quick math heads out there. But in this game, the efficiency from long range has dipped a bit. And again, success for them, as it does in a lot of 3x3 games, is going to come down to can they make shots from the outside. We know Blasquez and Zanka can score on the inside. Exposito can get to the cup as well. It's going to come down to Nil Bria hitting some shots. Highlights of what happened so far in the game. And it's been a tight one. As have most of the quarterfinals. Like I told you, the top 8 all placed into the knockout rounds here. So at least on paper, your best teams are here and featured. Trying to reset the shot clock here. So a bit of technical delay here as we try to get the shot clock and basket worked on. Both teams get an extended breather here with an 8-6 score and a little bit over 6:30 left in the game. Back to it. Trajkovic with a mean fake, kicks out Bursak. Bang, bang. If you hit 1-2 on the season, might as well make it 2. Vlasquez, no. Good defense by Hangzhou. Exposito with the steal, gets it right back. Pace of the game obviously is picked up. These players have gotten an extended breather. A wild look there by Vlasquez, forced by the shot clock, I think. Barcelona have not been able to get consistent offense. And Hangzhou, they've been able to knock down a couple of twos. That's been the difference in the game so far. Vidovic working behind the screen, lobs it up. Kovacevic can't hang on. That one sailing out of bounds. Uh-oh. Corner pocket 2 is opted for a drive instead, so 10-7. Kovacevic brings his team closer to the bonus as Barcelona just picked up their 5th foul. Hasn't been as efficient as he was yesterday. But might be able to work on those stats from the free throw stripe, and I'm sure his team won't mind him being less efficient if they get themselves into the semifinals. Anyway, we're still 5:30 away. I'm not saying that they are. They might. They're here. There is a miss for Kovacevic with Bursak picks up the board. Kovacevic from long range splashes 12-7 as a result. Barcelona, they're going to have to start looking for some answers. Bria to Zonka, no. Missed the easy one. There's Kovacevic again. Don't let the man shoot. And then an offensive foul on Barcelona. So Hangzhou is blowing the doors off the game here in the last 2 possessions as Kovacevic has extended their lead from 3 to 7 points. At the 5-minute mark, Barcelona now looking for answers. Rosito not finding any. Oh, Trajkovic with a mean hezzy, but no make. Exposito now again at the lefty lay. This time he finishes 14-8. Barcelona showing some feistiness, some scrappiness, but again, the long-range shooting is the difference in the game. Hangzhou has managed a couple. More than a couple, actually. Barcelona have managed none. And that was foul number 7 on Hangzhou. So we'll see Bria attempt a couple. They're going to need to hit some free throws if they want to stick around in this tournament. If they want to bite into this 6-point deficit, I apologize. Being in the bonus always helps. With Bria, he manages 1 or 2. 5 points separate these two teams who have come into this tournament as your number 3 and your number 8 seed. First sack, no. There goes Blasquez to the rack again. We're back within 2 possessions. Uh-oh. Trajkovic gets to the cup. Bria with the answer off the glass. Vidovic. A whistle on the rebound. And that is on Barcelona. Foul number 7 as well. So Hangzhou now will have 2 free throws coming up by the name of Vladimir Trajkovic. And he knows what to do with those. First one, cash. There's Kovacevic on the move yet again. Bump. Nope. Nothing back there but Vidovic. Esposito now. The drive has been very effective so far. 16-12. Again, this game isn't over. It's a 2-possession game. We have 3:30 on the clock. Both teams in the bonus. Vidovic. From very deep, no. Rebound not controlled. That is going to be Hangzhou possession, and it is a TV timeout first. Take a look at some of the happening. Both teams have been able to get to the rack. Exposito's left very good. Blasquez has been exceptionally quiet in this one. Leading the team yesterday in scoring, but so far only a few layups for the Spanish. There's Vidovic. Tries to attack Blasquez. Righty scoop, no. Rebound back to the Spaniards, who want to eat into this 4-point deficit for sure. Blasquez. Actually, never mind. It's Bria from the high post. Ooh, that's smoother than Froyo. Bursack is fouled. Bucket. I'm not sure it counts. But the 8th foul in Barcelona. So Alexander Bursack for sure going to the stripe. That score so far not on the board. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it didn't count. 2 free throws, though, for Bursack. Easy money on the first. Back to a 4-point game. 2 possessions still. Could be 3 possessions after a make here. There's Exposito working on Vidovic. Zanka is open. Much needed 2-ball went down there for Barcelona, so now they need to stop if they want to continue the trend. They do get the stop they want. 2:30 on the clock. Blasquez back to Exposito. Exposito off the glass. 18-17. Big shot by Guim Exposito. And he brings his squad close. So close to Hangzhou. Only a 1-point separation between the two sides as we head into the last stretch of the game here. Again, these teams have never seen each other on the pro circuit. They don't know what to expect. But Guim Exposito coming up big when it matters most. Hangzhou. They've been scoring at will all tournament. But now they turn it over, and Zanka is open underneath the basket. We are tied at 18, ladies and gentlemen. What a game. Quarterfinal action from Yichang does not disappoint. Kovacevic spins and wins. Big bucket for the Chinese squad. Zanka stuck. Throws it up and over to Bria. 2 on the shot clock. He needs to get off a shot off the 3x3 logo, and it's down. Barcelona at 20 points. 20-19. A 2-ball will end things, though. Vidovic crosses up. He takes... he loses the ball, but then a bad pass. A bad pass by Bria. Barcelona get possession, but they rush. They had Zanka open underneath the basket, and Bria just chucks it out of bounds. That was a shot to win the game. Now Hangzhou back in possession, and again, a 2-ball will win the game in their favor. First to 21 wins. They get it to Vidovic. Screening action with Kovacevic. It's a pick and pop. No, another steal. Bria goes to the cup. Lefty scoop. Barcelona's in the semis. Barcelona knock out the number 3 seed Hangzhou and make it into the semifinals for the first time ever on the pro circuit. Incredible game. They got 3 stops, 2 of them steals down the stretch of that game to manage to take down this number 3 Hangzhou squad. Your last Chinese team leaves the tournament in the quarterfinals. And we will see the Spaniards in the semis. Y'all enjoy the highlights. So your top four out here in Yichang is set. It's two Lithuanian squads meeting up, and then a border battle between French and Spanish teams. Three of these teams remain unbeaten. Barcelona one lost their tally, but they just managed an incredible victory over Hangzhou. First, though, we got to go with the Raudondvaris Hoptrans and Marijampole Mantinga matchup. Two Lithuanian sides who obviously know each other very well. The head-to-head between these teams is 1-1. Last year they had a price for the Masters in the Neom Challenger. It was a full-phase win for Marijampole. Challenger, a full win for Raudondvaris. But let's meet with the squads first. It is Šarūnas Vingelis for Raudondvaris Hoptrans. He had 6 points in their quarterfinal win over New York Harlem. This man had 10 big ones. Ivaldas Jaugas are joined by Modestas Kumpis and Aurelius Bukelis. And there is your Raudondvaris Hoptrans squad. The Lithuanian looking mean.
接下来我们往去欢迎同样来自立陶宛的马里扬波列队 ，Ladies and gentlemen, team Marijampole number 4, Vytautas Šulskis.
Here is this season they have managed to cross the quarterfinal bar. It's Vytautas Šulskis, Ignas Labutis, Tautidas Klimčinikas, and Zigimanta Šamonis, who had 8 points and 3 twos hit in a win, a 21-19 win over Saitama. They have been unbeaten so far. So it's an interesting matchup to say the least. I'm sure these teams know each other very, very well from either practice or local tournaments, but on the pro circuit, again, only 2 meetups. Your tournament leading scorer on the field, 2 are the top 3 leading scorers on the field actually representing in this game. Ivaldas Jaugas third with 24 points, and Vytautas Šulskis, he had himself 8 points yet again to keep his average at 8. Actually, never mind. 8.6. The man is possessed. He only missed 1 shot again from inside the arc. Didn't attempt any twos. And Vytautas Šulskis at 26 points for the tournament. Let's get sprinting. We got 3 more sprints left until we know who wins this thing. Semifinal action on deck from the Zigui Yichang Challenger. It's Bukelis. Oh, bang, bang. Starts it off big with a 2-ball. Bukelis, who hasn't shot it well this tournament from range, but first play, he gets one to go. And if that is a foreboding of things to come, then Marijampole is in trouble. Screening action for the team in green. It's Šamonis fading off of one leg. Can't get the shot to go. Bukelis, another attempt from long range. Bang, bang. That's number 2. 4 points, all of them coming from the Lithuanian. What a start of the game. Raudondvaris Hoptrans, they mean trouble. You can already see it. And a layup and Marijampole on the board as well. Flight mode to Vingelis. Vingelis on the move. Obviously, the team's not going to try to let him shoot, but he steps back. There's your third 2 of the game for Raudondvaris, who have come out guns blazing. Just unleashing from beyond the arc. Klienčinikas, ooh, the hesitation and the lay. And a whistle on the floor now. Looks to be Mariampole's first foul. Pukelis to Jaugas on the cut. And that's good. First 1 point make for Raudondvaris as well. Can Marijampole stick with the offensive firepower of their countrymen? Pukelis goes down to Jaugas in the post. Jaugas spinning off of Shimonis. But that layup no good. Labutis fading, no good. Also, no good as well. Marijampole struggled to score the basketball in the first 2 minutes. Meanwhile, Raudondvaris, they're at 8 points already. This is Formula 1 3x3. They're trying to get to 21 points in right around 3 minutes. And a whistle on the floor. Shulskis and Pukelis got tangled up. Foul number 2 on Marijampole Mantinga. And a fresh 12 for the team in yellow. Pukelis getting Sharunas a look. Gets it back. Hangs and hits. Klienčinikas, a difficult looking two. That was end of the shot clock material as well, but that 1 foot runner, no good. Back to Vingelis. Kumpis flying in for that rebound. He's such a multifaceted player. Might not score a whole bunch, but he'll get a bunch of boards. He will drive to the cup, and he already took somebody's soul today. He banged on Esowune in the quarterfinals. That might have been a candidate for poster of the season. And there's a reason why Modestas Kumpis always shows up high in the player value category. If you look at the stats in 3x3, he does it all. Shulskis, meanwhile, now on the stripe, trying to stop the bleeding. Raudondvaris at 10 points already after 3 minutes game. Pukelis down to Jaugas. Whistle on the play. That score is down. So a bucket and a bump for Evel Knievel, who will now step into the free throw stripe as well. You're one of the 3 Olympic bronze medal winners on this Raudondvaris squad. There's Kumpis again. And what a play. Jaugas getting wide open for that layup. Klienčinikas, nothing there. Has to try another desperation heave. So the defense for Raudondvaris has been shining as bright as their offense. Oh, that at least helps a little bit. 11-6. Kumpis now from long range tries to join the party. Back on. Spinning but not winning. Labutis is stuck, so Marijampole in all sorts of trouble when it comes to offense, and then now they're just letting Jaugas score underneath the basket, so Raudondvaris are really just snatching this game from their countrymen. Kumpis breaking up the play, snatching the wheels, and there's Jaugas pushing the back. Klienčinikas is upset as we've gotten to our second TV timeout. A 12-6 score in favor of Raudondvaris, who've been very active on offense. And Marijampole has struggled a bit. Can't get through the defense as easy as they have been in their pool play and quarterfinal games. Back to it. Semifinal action here from Yichang. Your first out of two. There is the Lithuanian, and he is fouled. Foul number 5 on Marijampole Mantinga. And actually, never mind. That's an offensive foul on Raudondvaris. So Kalis with too much contact on the play there. Possession back to the team in green. Can they get any type of offense? Where has your tournament's leading scorer gone? Well, there he is. Splash ball. Schulskis. Score back within 4. Jaugas, what a move. That's good like Scooby Snacks and a free throw to boot. Eight-year score, and Evil Knievel, leading scorer on his Raudondvaris squad with an opportunity from the stripe. He's been excellent all tournament. But that free throw a miss. Hey, you know what? There's the Lithuanian picking up the change and bringing in the tip. And Chinikas with a clean pass into Schulskis. That pick and roll game from Marijampole Mantinga is such a thing to behold. Schulskis is so good, creating contact on the screen, getting loose for layups. And Chinikas a sharp passer. More of that if they want to stick with Raudondvaris in this one. Post action for the team in yellow. Jaugas. They look for the Lithuanian in a mismatch, and Pukelis is feasting down there. He didn't have the best tournament so far, but in this game, he's sharper than the Master Sword. And he's just going to town on his countrymen. So Raudondvaris in firm control of this one. Looking to move on to another final. And their season has already seen a lot of finals. And they were in the Sansar Challenger finals just over a couple of weeks ago. That's not the only thing they've done so far this year, though. Look, Chang'an before that final. Lausanne final. They won the Orleans Challenger and the Marseille World Tour. So this would be their 6th final on the pro circuit. But Marijampole is not dropping dead. They want to stick around in this game. They have Raudondvaris at 5 points, and they stay there. Haven't been able to stop them, though. They have started to create some of their own offense. Here's Jaugas. Spins off of Ziggy Montes Shamonas, but the layups miss. Shamonas from the corner. A back scratcher. No good. Labutis back to Schulskis. Splash ball. Back within 3. Marijampole looking live. Pukelis behind the screen. No good. And Marijampole could inch within 1 possession in this offensive possession. Šulskis almost lost it. There's Labutis. No. Šimonis from the corner fades into another 2-ball. Told you he's the X factor if he can keep hitting his shots. Missed the last couple, though. Jaugas. Fading, but not making. They get it back to Šimonis. Pick and roll action with Šulskis, who drops to the floor. Šimonis. Labutis is on an island, launches up a 2, in and out. It's traced down, though, but Kumpis comes away with it. They go looking for Jaugas. And now a foul called on the rebound. Who's that on? Both teams at 6 fouls. So, see, Raudondvaris, 7th foul. So Šimonis will step to the stripe with an opportunity at 2 free throws. And he can edge his team back within a point. They haven't been there since the first minute of the game, first 10 seconds of the game, actually, before Pukelis started going bananas. Here we go. Semifinal number 1. We are ready to get the last part of the game underway. 3 minutes and change on the clock. Marijampole, an opportunity here to pull within 2 or 1, depending on what Šimonis can do from the stripe. First one, cash. Second one off the glass, but dinero. So 17-16. Pukelis, though. Close. There's Pukelis cleaning up the mess. Raudondvaris edging closer to that 21-point mark. Kliņķinikas directing traffic. Šulskis wants to set a screen, gets it off the pick and pop. He's wide open. That was a good look for Šulskis, who's been hitting his 2s this tournament. Now Jaugas driving to the cup. He's double-teamed. They leave Vingelis, who can drive freely to the basket, but is blocked. Wiped off the glass by Šulskis. What defense? And then, Kliņķinikas ties the game at 18. These Lithuanian fellas, both of the teams are not laying down easily. Pukelis bumps. Nothing there. Rebound back to Kliņķinikas. He gets it back. Šulskis on the move. Spins off Vingelis, but Vingelis with the good defense holds his ground. And now people are on the floor and a whistle on the play. Marijampole, their 7th foul. So look again as I don't know what happened there. Kliņķinikas just fell, and apparently he took Pukelis with him. But it means Aurelius Pukelis will be shooting 2 free throws after the timeout here, getting his team closer to the 21-point mark to win the game. What a comeback by Marijampole, who started the game off just looking outmatched and outclassed, but they've managed to come back and scrapped and clawed their way into a tie. They need some more magic if they want to continue the run here. Pukelis will step to the stripe. Again, he has 2 free throws coming up to possibly put his team at 20. The Lithuanian, a good free throw shooter. Right around 75% on the season. That smooth touch is showing yet again. 19 points are out on Raudondvaris. Possibly be 20 after this. And it is dropped out. So the door open for Marijampole now to tie things up yet again. Šimonis steps back. A 2 attempt. No. Gets his own board. There's Kliņķinikas. A open look. No again. Kumpi's coming away with the board. Jalga's going to end things with a 2. And he does! Evil Knievel gets his team a 21-18 victory in a battle between two Lithuanian teams that was extremely exciting. But it's the Raudondvaris Hoptrans squad coming away with one. Marijampole is going to be left waiting to see what happens in the other semifinals to see if they can make it to Manama. They gave themselves a chance, though. All good friends after the game. As you can see, y'all enjoy the highlights. We got one more semifinal coming up. So we got a border battle between France and Spain coming up next. It is the rematch of the Lausanne Masters pool game between Barcelona and Paris. Paris on their third tournament in just 9 days. Runners up at the Shanghai Masters last weekend, a week and a half ago, a little less than a week and a half. And won the Hamburg Challenger on Saturday, and then right back to it here in Yichang. It's Suhard coming out first. That game in Lausanne, by the way, a Paris victory because of 15 points by Frank Zigui. Just ridiculous. It's Rambo, Zigui, and Joko with Suhard. And there you go. Here is the Barcelona squad that took out Hangzhou. Making it all the way out here to the semis. Neom Masters. It was him with 8 points who led the way in that game against Hangzhou. He's joined by Jose Blasquez, Jome Zanca, and Wim Exposito. And this Barcelona squad is looking interesting, to say the least. I think they have the tools to be a very good 3x3 team. Went 3 of 8 from long range in that game against Hangzhou, for instance. It's not a bad percentage. It's pretty good. Anyway, they are running into one of the hottest teams in 3x3, though, in pairs. They have lost to them before on the pro circuit. So let's see how they fare this time. Officials for this one: Lavinia George and Ignas Davinis. Lithuania and Romania represent. The outcome of this game also important for Marijampole, as they are waiting to see if they can make it to Manama. We have to bring out the calculators in case of a Barcelona win, because Barcelona already has a loss, Paris has not. Now, if Paris wins, we know who's going to go to Manama, because then Barcelona will have 2 losses and Marijampole will have 1. But in case of a Barcelona win, things get very, very interesting here. So we'll see what happens. One more 10-minute sprint until we know who's in the finals and who will make it to Manama. Then it's just all about prize money at the Zigui Yichang Challenger here in 2024. Now, if you haven't done your due diligence, please do so. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube below to keep you updated on all 3x3 actions. Also go to Instagram at FIBA 3x3. And if you want to hit me up, at bas.rosendahl, bas.rozendall. A backdoor play to start the game for Barcelona. Zanca speeding to the cup. They open up the score. Paris go looking for Joko. Joko, bump, bully, bucket. Just moving furniture out the way. And then Exposito can't get it to go. So both teams get their opening score out of the way. And a first whistle as well. There's Rambo in the high post. On the move, gets it to Zigui. And again, in that pool play game in Lausanne, Zigui had 15. Which is wild. 5 of 6 from 2. He starts things off with a clean look. Blasquez on the other end just straight up goes at Rambo. One of the more opposing big men in 3x3, but Blasquez says, I don't care. There's Zigui again. You know what? That 5 is 6. I can see where he did that. 4 points to start the game for Zigui, who's already splashing like Magikarp here early. Exposito trying to share the rock. There's a foot in between. A fresh 12 for the Spaniards. They get an open look for Bria. They needed a 2 to go down, and Bria delivers like DoorDash. 5-4. So this Barcelona squad, again, and maybe just as much as Paris, but could be a little more, is dependent on whether the outside shot is falling, and Neom Bria being the main shooter on the squad. A heavy load rests on his shoulders. Paris, they might have a little bit more option when it comes to both shooting and as well as the pick and roll game they have with Rambo, something the Spaniards don't really use that much. Screening action, we've talked about that. Rambo being the main screener for Paris. If he subs out, it's Zigui taking over those duties. Both of them are lob threats and are easy finishers underneath the basket. That brings a whole new dimension to this Paris squad. Look at Rambo getting Suhard a look here. Suhard slashes and cashes. Zanka. It's more of a drive and kick game for Barcelona. If a whistle on the play. So second foul on Paris, a reset then for Barcelona. Blázquez to Bria. Bria looking for space. Spins out of it. There's Blázquez on the cut and one. Off the glass and a foul on Paris. Jose Blázquez, the leading scorer for this Barcelona squad on day one action, was a little quiet in the quarterfinals, but comes up big here with a huge bucket to try to see if he can tie the game at 6. Against this Paris squad, it's important to not let him get out of hand early. Again, they are a very, very competent team, a multifaceted team. Multiple players can score at will, as Zigui showcases here. And then the basket just comes apart. Zigui upset, feels like he got shoved in the back, but the entire stand for the basket just came down. I think some technical support is needed. We can't continue play like this, obviously. We need to fix the shot clock. But look again, Zigui. Never mind. This is the Bria 2. Here's Suhard. And then we go into Blázquez getting that shot. See if we can get a look at Zigui driving to the cup right here. And then he just bumps into the basket and breaks down the stanchion. High arcing layup off the glass. Difficult shot. And they are trying to fix things. Meanwhile, the teams get an extended breather, as do I, which is much necessary, as my voice is barely holding on due to all of the excitement and action here. So let me remind you again to hit us up on the socials. I mean, I know I've said it already, but we'd love for you to follow us. I'd love for you to follow me and hit me up with questions and help with pronunciation and any other things you can think of. You can see all of the action of the Zigui Yichang Challenger as well as the World Tour in Wuxi that's happening simultaneously. So 2 tournaments in China. That might actually be a first. A Challenger and a Masters in the same country at the same time. Season ain't over by far. This is Challenger number 19 out of 22. We have a bit of a break after this one. Week and a half until we go to Amsterdam for the Masters there. I'll be present, of course. That is going to be a spectacle to behold. And meantime, at the same time, I think we have a Challenger in Korea. The Mugunghwa Challenger, if I'm not mistaken. We move action to the World Tour in Macau the weekend after. I told you we have a Masters every weekend from now until the finals in Hong Kong at the end of November. So Macau coming up after Amsterdam. Then we got Abu Dhabi, as well as the Taipei Challenger. So more action in Asia then. And then we go to, after Abu Dhabi, we go to Manama. And another Chinese Challenger in the same weekend, Deking. Then a first ever, I think, a 3-day World Tour in Neom. Will happen on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of November. And then we move action back to China for the World Tour in Shenzhen. And that is a week before the 3-day spectacle that will be the finals in Hong Kong. Now, I will be present for the Amsterdam, Abu Dhabi, Manama, Neom, and Hong Kong Masters. Very glad to be a big part of that last stretch of the World Tour season. After that, we're not even done because we still have the Africa Cup and the America Cup. Africa Cup at the end of November and December 1st. To be held in Antananarivo in Madagascar for the first time. That should be a very cool location. And the America Cup, we go back to San Juan, Puerto Rico. That is on December 12th till 15th. And then I think we can officially close the season. Unfortunately, because I always love more 3x3. But that is what it is. Take a look at the crowds here as we are still working on some technical issues. If you're just tuning in, the basket was brought down by a bump from Frank Seguela. He doesn't just kill on the court. He kills stanchions as well, apparently. A bit of a delay because of it. So I'm going to leave you guys with some images of the crowd here. And as we get ready to get going, I'll keep you posted. I'm sure this is not going to take long. They do have to fix things. So don't go anywhere. Stay with us. So action is ready to continue. Thank you for the grounds crew for cleaning up that mess and fixing the hoop again. And here we go, Barcelona. Looking at a 2-point deficit. They go right into pick and roll action with Blázquez, who's open underneath. Rambo wide open underneath the basket. Good look by Seguela. Great find. Esposito. Oh, you found him like Timo, but he missed the layup. Blázquez left one on the board there. And a foul on Barcelona after. Great pass by Esposito, but an unfortunate miss for Jose Blázquez. Reset for the Parisians. 12 seconds to work with and a high post play. Suhar, a double screen and a handoff for him. A lot of work to get him open. He steps into the corner. That splash no good, but he traces down his own board. Does go out of bounds. Seems like that might be Barcelona possession. And it is. The Spaniards go with screening action as well. It's Blázquez on an island. They leave him open to shoot. It does pay off as he misses the long ball. Back and forth we go. Teams trading misses at this stage of the game. That extended break because of the basket failure always does something to the mind state of teams, and you can see the sharpness has kind of left the game here. They're going to have to refine that. Which team is stronger mentally? And another mistake here as Paris runs out the 12-second shot clock. And we get to our first TV timeout. Another bit of a break here as you look at some of the happenings so far in the game. So teams have had a minute to set their heads on straight. Let's see if the focus and sharpness can return. First part of the game, both teams were ablaze, just crisp on offense. Last few possessions have been a bit sloppy. Exposito on the move. Pulls up for two. Bang, bang. Barcelona tied a game. Rambo not trying to take Zanka one-on-one in the post. He gets another, I won't say mismatch, but a whistle on the play. And I think it might be on, yeah, it is on Paris. An offensive foul on Rambo, who tried to clear out some space with his arms. Referees having none of that. Exposito down to Blázquez, and he's tripped up by Joko. Paris just hacking like the dark web now, racking up fouls left and right. Two quick ones brings him to 5. Both teams actually had 5 fouls and 8 points, so we've got a double deadlock here with over 6 minutes to go. Barcelona in possession of the Wilson. Exposito explodes to the hoop. Is fouled in the process. Free throws coming up for Guim. Guim Exposito is cash from the stripe. There's getting a bit of a twist. But you know what? There's the man to help. Sakila with another 2-ball. It's third of the game. I told you hit 5 in a pool play win over Barcelona and Lausanne. Bria heaves up a prayer. No. Well for the Frenchman. Segele in possession of it again. Shares with Suhard. 4 in the shot clock on the move. Now a foul call on Barcelona. They are at 6 fouls as well. So right before the 5-minute mark, both teams in foul trouble. That's with the slightest of leads. Suhard. Hasn't been able to lace one up just yet. So the 7th foul on Barcelona is an offensive one. No free throws to boot. It does give possession back to Paris, though. We'll go with the high post handoff for Rambo. Him and Suhard working that 2-man game. Suhard down to Rambo. Rambo attacking Bria. Gets it to go right before the end of the shot clock. Now a 2-point lead for the French. Zanka on the move. 11-10. Joko left to right cross with a whistle on the play. Offensive foul called on Rambo underneath the basket. Paris also had 7 fouls. Bria steps into a big shot, no good. Chased down by Suhard. Gets the Segela screen, asks for another. Suhard on the move. A nifty step back, and the nets are wet. Hugo Suhard splashing like a super soaker. Joko with the steal now. Momentum going to the Paris squad. Sigela. Suhard. Suhard, another one. No, but his rebound's there. There's Sigela. Joko now attempts one as well. Top of the key. 5-point lead for Paris. Barcelona, and they're getting an offensive rebound. They're not out of this game yet. Look, they were in a similar position in the quarterfinals against the Turība of our Hangzhou squad. I apologize. They managed to come back and win the game, so don't count them out. That 4-point deficit is easily erased. A TV timeout on the is to be had now in a tight contest here. Who can make it into the finals here in Yichang? Will it be Paris or will it be Barcelona? Barcelona again in their first ever semifinals on the pro circuit in 2024. It'd be a shock they can get the hottest team in 3x3, Paris. One of the hottest teams, I have to say, but one of the hottest teams in the last 2 weeks in 3x3 for sure, if they can get him out. Here we go. Zanka. Righty drive, hangs and hits. Told you Barcelona ain't out of this. 15-12. Rambo goes into Zanka. Looking for Joko. Nothing there. Rambo behind the back. A 1-foot step back for Jules Rambo. Nothing to be found there. So a shot clock violation. Can't hit the rim. Bria. Nifty play. There's Blasquez on the cut. Nothing there. Zanka. Blocked on the rebound attempt. Sigela. Out to Rambo. They get it back to Sigela. Sigela. He's got 3 twos to his name. Attempts a fourth. No. Can't hit him. Drive and cut game for Barcelona back in effect. They get it to Bria. Bria looking for space. He steps all the way back and slings one up there. Zanka. A foul called on the rebound. It is going to be some free throws, and it looks like that's a foul in Barcelona. The 9th. Actually, never mind. It's the 8th foul in Paris, so 2 free throws for Jaume Zanka coming up. Nope. Nope, I'm mistaken. Referees changing this one around. It ends up being free throws for Hugo Suhard. You can extend the Paris lead to 5 points if he manages to hit both. First one, money. $16-12, it stands. 17-12, I apologize, it stands. They needed that bang by Blasquez more than you know. Big bucket for the Spaniards. They need some of that momentum to shift back to them. Suhard to the corner. Big shot. Ooh. Hugo Suhard. With the French at game point. They let him get a 1. So Paris now with a 2 can end things. It's Suhard. Lethal sniper he is. Wide open. Hugo Suhard. Oh, good. And that's it. Paris back to the finals for their 3rd tournament in 9 days. Just an incredible run. Barcelona left on the outside. Uh-oh. Referees are looking at something. Wait a minute. put the score at 20. Might not be done here. So I think we're not done. Paris is at 20 points. They recalibrate the score. And Paris, they still got a bucket to get. And Barcelona now, maybe an opportunity to get back. They get a shot. It's a miss. Zigui crossing up. He's got Bria on skates, driving to the cup, scoops it up, but not in. Zonka working behind the screen, gets it back to Bria. Bria on the move. Midi pull-up. 20-15. Barcelona need to stop Paris. They want to get a bucket to get this game out of the way. Thought they had won it already, but not yet. Zigui, though. Oh, a wild two is launched, but nothing there. Osito. Passing to Zonka, who's wide open. 16. Paris goes looking for that game winner yet again. Joko spins but loses to Wilson. Bria from the corner. But Bria steps in line. Uh-oh. So Barcelona got the steal they needed, the stop they needed, but they don't retain the possession because of a turnover. Now it's back to the Parisians. Suhar checks the Wilson up top. He gets the screen. Denies the screen. Suhar to the corner. Joko on the drive. Fakes. Hangs and is fouled. 10th foul on Barcelona. So 2 free throws coming up for Paul Joko. If he does not manage a point into both of those, Paris will retain possession afterwards as well. That's the double bonus for you. A rebound on the free throws. That's it. Paris thought they had made it into the finals already. They do so after a little bit of a delay. 21-16 victory over Barcelona. We'll see them take on Raudondvaris Hoptrans for the crown out here in Yichang. Y'all enjoy the highlights. We'll take a little bit of a break after this. The finals are slated to start right around 30 minutes from now. We'll see you there. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to China. Welcome to Yichang. 现场的朋友们，这时候啊，千万不要离开你的座位，因为我们的好戏马上就要上演。问一下现场的朋友们，有没有想看扣篮表演的？还不错，再来一次让我听到你们最大的热情，想不想看？那就让我们用最大的欢呼声，请出我们的今天2位中国扣神、中国扣篮界陈德兴，还有为人扣篮王万雷，掌声欢迎他们。2位呢也是兄弟，也是战友啊。那今天来到我们秭归，非常轻松来到秭归呢，不知道2位给我们带来如何精彩的表现，先让我们2位热身一下。星哥已经38岁了，但是还是能够完成非常高难度的动作。 间，能够看到如此精彩的投篮表演。新队又要来了，再给我新的来点呐喊声音！这个球也非常的胯下，比刚才看的是蹲下。 这一下可以看到他的跳的已经非常非常高了。再一次这个投篮向内有，这个蹲下的动作，秦哥来了，非常非常激动啊！ 也需要我们的同学进行配合。这次的路线不同寻常，现场的朋友们都礼拜三了，拿出你们最大的声音，来见证这一时刻的到来。 蝎子摆尾，非常非常精彩。大家，我问一下，觉得今天的表演精彩吗？再来点声音，精彩吗？我刚才问了我们两位大哥，还有神秘礼物送给大家？ 还有神秘礼物是什么呢？今天拿到威尔胜的我们比赛游戏的迷你版，有2位扣神来签名送给大家，好不好？亲签啊！有没有想要的观众朋友们，你们的声音呢？ 我看一下哪边观众的呼声最大，我们现在把球抛给他，好不好？来了，注意安全啊！注意安全，注意安全！哇，非常幸运，非常幸运。我们还有2个球，看一下哪边的观众声音最大，好不好？我新哥就已经签完了。 这边的朋友，注意安全，注意安全。都送完了，好了，再一次把掌声送给2位，好不好？非常精彩的表演，谢谢你们，谢谢。中国投篮的骄傲，代表世界的水平，再次感谢，再次感谢，非常精彩。 还有更多的互动，更多的游戏等待着大家。而且我们的决赛马上也要开打。
将进行最终的决赛。想问问现场的朋友们，过不过瘾？
好了，现在我们 Fan Cam 已经出现在大屏幕上了。刚才没有接到球的朋友们，告诉大家，一会儿我们的决赛选手每人手上出场的时候都有一个球。我们告诉他们的是，听见谁的声音大，就会给谁。所以刚才这一波没有拿到球的，这样准备好了。
好了，现场的朋友们，看向大屏幕，又来了，我们的大屏时间，秀出你们的肌肉好吗？在这边的朋友们，秀出你的肌肉。我们先活跃一下气氛。我们刚才说了，我们等会儿决赛进场之前、入场之后，我们的球员们就会把他们的手上拿的球抛给大家，看一下等会儿哪边的观众朋友们声音最大，好不好？
已经会了，手拍起来。
So we got 1 minute, 10 minutes sprint left between us and the winners of the Yichang Challenger here on the FIBA 3x3 Pro Circuit 2024. It's Raudondvaris, Hoptrans looking for their third win of the season. They're looking for consecutive wins as they won the Hamburg Challenger just last Saturday. And are looking to do the unthinkable here, rise to the top yet again out here in Yichang. And here's Raudondvaris coming out first. It's Sarunas Vingelis. Jaugas is the leading scorer on the squad on the tournament. He had himself 6 points again in that semifinals win over their countrymen for Marijampole, who, by the way, have qualified to Manama. So we'll see them there. There was the big fella in that game. 9.6 boards for Aurelius Pukelis, the Lithuanian. 3 offensive rebounds. Got his team a bunch of extra possessions as they staved off their countrymen. And that's your Raudondvaris Hoptrans squad that's going to look to try to see if they can make it 2 challengers in a row for them, as well as their last tournament was a challenger win. Not last weekend, a couple of weeks ago in Mongolia at the Sunsar Challenger. So a tough battle between Paris and Raudondvaris here. Paris coming out with Hugo Suhard. 8 buckets, 8 big points for him in a win over Barcelona in the semis. There's Jules Rambeau joining him, the big fella. Paul Joko and Frank Segela also joining the squads. And look, this is a rematch of rematches. These teams have seen each other. Last time Paris and Raudondvaris met up was in the finals of the Lausanne Masters. Lausanne Masters that was won by Paris. So that's not all, though. 2 of the wins in the head-to-head from at that Lausanne Masters, both of those going to Paris. So recency bias is goes the Parisians' way. Losses, though, they go to Parisians' way as well. There's 4 losses in the last 2 years. Debrecen last year. The Turismo San Juan Challenger last year as well. Your finals referees, by the way, Kurung Shi and Lavinia George. The Hong Kong Masters in the quarterfinal last year, and then the Marseille final this year that Raudondvaris snatched from the home team there, Paris. So these teams have seen each other a lot. And again, Paris looking for their second win this pro circuit. Third tournament win. Raudondvaris, they're up to 3 wins already. They want to get a 4th. Again, they have the Sansar and Orleans Challengers as well as that Marseille Masters victory. Paris, they got the Lausanne Masters victory over Raudondvaris again, and Hamburg last weekend. Both teams red hot coming into this one, and seeds number 1 and 2 taking each other on into finals here, as expected maybe before the tournament. So let's see which one of these teams will stumble and which one of these teams will prevail. Again, we know we're going to see them in Manama at the Masters at 1st and 2nd of November. Now it's all about that prize money and that MVP spot down the line. Your tournament's leading scorer has left the building, by the way. Vytautas Šulskis no longer active, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are here. Evaldas Jaugas has 30 points to his name. Segela 28 and Suhar 25 big ones. And here we go. 10-minute sprint, the last one from the Zigui Yichang Challenger here in 2024. Vingelis with the midi pull-up. High arcing. Eventually goes down. Difficult shot. But he manages to get it. Joko looking to attack the Lithuanian. A step back is no good. Pukelis snatches the Wilson. Shares with Jaugas. This has been working all tournament. Jaugas has been extremely active. 3-zip to start the game for Raudondvaris. Paris needs some offense. An answer maybe from Joko. Gets a screen from Rambeau. Behind the back, looses Vingelis. Euro step. That's good. Paul Joko with a misdirection. But look, there's Pukelis. Launching a 2, but missing. So a fiery start to the game for the Lithuanians. A 2-1 start. I thought it was going to be 3-1, but apparently they miscounted the score early. So a 2-1 start. Joko coming through with the trickery to get things closer. And here we go again. Sigela getting that reset action for pairs. Sigela spinning around Pukelis. Good defense by the big fella. And he opts for a quick shot. Pukelis, who started off the semifinal with 2 made twos, has missed both of his attempts here early. He's luckily that his teammates pick up the slack there. 3-1. Suhard. And a whistle on the rebound as Kumpis and Segela got tangled up. First foul on the team in yellow. High post action now for the French. They try to get Joko open. That didn't work, but a push called. Rambo down to Joko on the high post. They run some misdirection, and Rambo ends up with the rock. How'd he find him? That was GPS accuracy on that pass. Somehow snuck it through. Raudondvaris try to get Jaugas a little bit of a look. Vingelis loses everyone, pulls up for 2, splash ball. He's been at it all game. You won't often see Sarunas Vingelis be the leading scorer in a game, but he always gets the 1 or 2 twos that you need. Segela, meanwhile, gets smacked. And we'll go to the free throw stripe for 2 easy ones. Frank Segela again leading his team in scoring out here. Not by a large margin, though. Suhard only 3 points behind him. But working on his totals here early. And a miss on the free throw there. Jaugas spins. Jaugas going to the cup is denied by Segela. And a warning for talking extended. First 2 minutes of the game has been Raudondvaris. Let's see if Barris can squeeze the Wilson and get back. This helps Suhard. Oh, Joko with the hustle. Look at that. The man's been standing on business all tournament. There's Vingelis is open, too. If he missed that, that would have been a wide open shot for one of the best shooters in all of 3x3. Jaugas, no. Joko, bang, bang. Referees are telling the players that Wilson was cleared. Raudondvaris are telling the referees that it might not have been. It looks like he had a foot outside of the 2-point arc. I'm not sure if the other foot was lifted, but let's see. Yep, that's cleared for sure. Nifty move by Joko. Jaugas. Splash ball again. Raudondvaris continue to hot shooting. It's what's gotten them here in the finals. Rambo now answers with a 1-point shot underneath. Back to the Lithuanians we go. Vingelis. Pukelis puts up a difficult two. Contested shot. That was missed, obviously. So back to the French. Zigui. I like the matchup of Rambo and Pukelis. Two of the premier big men in all of 3x3 going at it. Joko. They give Joko a lot of room to operate just because they don't want to have him drive to the basket. They'd rather have him shoot. Even though he's a 30% shooter, he's not the most secure two-point shooter on this pair squad. So the tactic for Raudondvaris so far is to give him a bit of a cushion for the drive, just so they can stop that lethal first step. So that was our first TV timeout out of the way. Paris looking to work on that 2-point deficit. They get Rambo and a switch on Kumpis. Foul on the floor. And here we go. Joko sneaks one through to Rambo. Rambo is guarded well. Kumpis very, very active on defense, as he's known to do. And then a whistle on the plate. Second foul on Paris. Raudondvaris already up to 5 fouls here. They do get possession here. And a fresh 12. Pukelis to Vingelis. Vingelis on the move. Steps back from the logo. No. But nobody there on the box out. And then Joko. This is the drive that you want to stop. He's so good at changing directions. That first step is lethal. Hey, that cuts more than hurtful words. Jaugas on the cut like a Band-Aid. Rambo with the misdirection there. Joko now finally lines up a 2. Kind of a sidewinder. Can't get it to go. And a foul on Perez afterwards as Suhard runs into Jaugas. No box like a bad game of Tetris. Oh, Kumpis lost to Wilson. Gets it back. There's Vingelis. A rolling Pukelis is denied. Get out of here. The 3 gorgeous dam got in the way. Frank Zigui wiping that off the glass, but a foul afterwards. Take a look again. Zigui just wipes that like a runny nose. Post action for the Lithuanians. Apologize. There's Vingelis cutting open for a free look. Now he has to guard Rambo in the post. That's not an easy job, as you can see. 10-7. Kumpis sneaks one in for Jaugas. Airplane mode unlocked. Answer. Oh, see what had happened was. Zigui manages to get a point, though, but Rambo attempts a dunk, and it just kind of bounced out there. Jaugas. Oh. Suhard just tried to block that. Smacked him in the back of the head as well. Good look as he spun off of Suhard, and Suhard just, went for the Wilson, obviously. And Evaldas Jaugas on the stripe for a singular free throw. Cash on that. So halfway through the game, it has been Raudondvaris in the driver's seat. 4-point lead as a result. There goes Pukelis. Kumpis is open in the corner, lines one up, no, but Džiaugas is not boxed out again. Paris, they have not been putting bodies on the Lithuanians. Sigela's on the floor now, but they have not been putting bodies on the Lithuanians, and that has been trouble. They've gotten a bunch of offensive rebounds for extra possessions. Now these players are in a discussion with each other on what happened. A flopping warning extended. 6th foul on the Parisians. Sigela and Džiaugas still jawing. There's Džiaugas. Sigela tried to get a steal. Now a foul on the play. Joko. And that is the 7th foul on the French. The Joker. Not a smart foul committed there. 2 free throws coming up for a very competent free throw shooter in the Lithuanian. So Pukelis with an opportunity to get his team a major lead here. Lead now at 6, could be extended to 7 points. Just crossed the halfway mark in his finals here of the Yichang Challenger. And he does just that. 15-8 Paris. They need some offense, but their shooters haven't been shooting. Sigela! Well, that will wake him up. Big bang. Oh, Pukelis loses to Wilson. Has to dribble it out. 4 on the shot clock. Vingelis gets a little bit of daylight. Šarūnas Vingelis, no. Kumpis getting his team an extra possession, but now a foul called on the play. Sigela on the floor. Kumpis extended his off arm to get that rebound. Referees seen enough. Might have hit Sigela in the noggin. Good thing he's got his teeth guard, but looks like he got hit in the mouth. So that foul's on the floor. 6th foul on the team in yellow. Take a look. So possession to the French. Again, they need a little bit of momentum. They need something. Suhard could be the one to go to. Suhard with a 2-ball attempt. No. Gets his own rebound. He's free in the corner for another look. Yikes. Scope a little bit off on Hugo Suhard. There's Pukelis monster mashing down there. The Lithuanian just feasting. Feed the parking meter. Give that man to Wilson. He's going to work. Sigela looking to create something. But you can see the French are diverting to one-on-one opportunities instead of set plays and ball screens. And that's not their forte, I have to say. Usually they go to that ball screen action. They get open off of cuts and nifty plays. But the Raudondvaris squad has sniffed them all out. And these teams know each other through and through. They've been seeing each other throughout the season. This is the 3rd time they've met up in 2024. 6th time they've met up in the last 2 years overall. Record so far has been pro Raudondvaris, and you can see why. They've outplayed the mismatches. They've been able to hit shots from the outside, whereas Paris has not been. Understandably, maybe so, as they are playing their 3rd tournament in just 9 days, and they've gotten to the finals in all 3 of them. Vingelis. And offensive foul called. And let me just remind you of the fact that those tournaments weren't close to each other. They were in Shanghai a week and a half ago, and then flew to Germany for a tournament, and then flew out here. With a day's rest, maybe. If you call that a day's rest if you fly through the night. To perform as well as they did out here in Yichang is just nothing short of amazing. There's Rambo with an easy lay. Bukele's an answer from the 2-point line is missed. Jagas puts it back up and in, 17-10 as we approach the 3-minute mark. Raudondvaris edging closer and closer to a challenger win. Another challenger win on their tally. Suhar behind the back loses everyone. And, well, again, a very hard layup. That was almost a dunk. But no wonder their legs are giving out every now and then. All respect to these fellas for just putting in the time and effort over the last 2 weeks to do as much as they've done is insane. Kumpis. Oh, well, missed an easy one. Joko now on the move. Joko slashes in for the lay. Vingelis open in the corner, answers with a 2-ball. Raudondvaris at game point 19-12. Joko's on the move again. They let him get an easy one. 2-pointer will end things for the Lithuanians. Lithuanians, that is. There's Jaugas open. He lines one up. Jaugas. Evaldas Jaugas brings Raudondvaris another challenger victory. The third of 2024. And they take down Paris that has gotten the best of them in the last 2 times they've met up. So Raudondvaris extend their run of finals to 4 in a row. 2 second-place finishes in Lausanne and Chang'an, and 2 first-place finishes in Sansar. And now at the Zigui Yichang Challenger, close to the 3 Gorges. They played 3 Gorges. You got it? Yeah, I was saving that one. Anyway, Raudondvaris, a wonderfully played tournament. Y'all enjoy these last set of highlights from Yichang. Let's take a look back at today's action. You can see Raudondvaris went through Harlem, Marijampole, and then Paris to get that victory. We lost all of our top 8 seeds except the number 1, who finally came through. See some of the highlights of the squad that excel out here in Yichang. What a tournament for the Lithuanians. Actually, what a tournament for all Lithuanians, as 2 Lithuanian teams managed to get a qualification spot here. Congratulations to Marijampole Mantinga as well. Paris, understandably, ran out of gas. And we are ready to announce who the most valuable player is. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our MVP from Raudondvaris Hoptrans, number 3,
It's Evaldus Jaugas, Evil Knievel, picking up an MVP here. His first of the season for Raudondvaris Hoptrans. He was incredible. Averaged 8.2 points per game on his way to 41 points total. He was unstoppable inside the arc, where he hit 71% of his shots, managed to splash 4 2-balls, one of them being for the victory here. He also rebounded better than anybody else on the squad, so a well-deserved award for the motor of this Raudondvaris Hoptrans team. Evaldus Jaugas coming over from Marijampole Mantinga this year to join the squad in the Olympics, and it's paid off for them and for him. Much deserved most valuable player award. Evil Knievel, as we call him, after the fearless stuntman, because he plays fearless, and his first name is Evaldus. And you know what? I have to explain that sometimes. Jaugas, good job. Congratulations. A well-deserved moment in the spotlight.
Okay, the MVP stay. And 感谢颁奖嘉宾，请移步台侧。All right, 女士们、先生们 ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome his teammates.
And he is joined by his teammates from Raudondvaris Hoptrans.
The winner of
Evaldus Jaugas, obviously.
Oh,
they can't go just yet. They have to wait.
Let's welcome Raudondvaris.
There we go. Modestas Kumpis, Sharunas Vingelis, and Aurelius Bukelis, who only smiles when he wins. I don't know if you guys noticed that. You don't see his teeth until he picks up a victory.
Number 5,
after the Samsar Challenger just over a couple of weeks ago, they go to a challenger again, Yichang, and take it for their own. They started in pool play with victories over Sagamihara and Turība and Barcelona, then ran through New York, Harlem, and Marijampole on their way to the finals and took care of Paris to pick up a victory here. What a tournament for the Lithuanians. So well played. All of their games won, all of their games finished before the limit. They averaged 21 points in the tournament, and obviously led the field with that. Shot a blistering 38% from beyond the arc on the tournament. And we're just all around incredible. Congratulations to Raudondvaris Hoptrans. We will see them in Manama, as well as Paris and Marijampole Mantinga, of course. But this moment belongs to one team only, and that is Raudondvaris Hoptrans.
All the presenters, let's take group photos.
And they're going to get their group photos taken. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye to all of you. It's been a blast the last 2 days here from Yichang. My name's Boz Rosendahl, a.k.a. The Mountain, and I want to wish you all a good day. If you want to check out some more 3x3, the finals of the Wuxi Masters happening right as we speak, so shift on over to YouTube to check out that. And with that, I bid thee good night.
感谢颁奖嘉宾，感谢颁奖嘉宾。Winner team, please stay. And it's the champion photo time. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the winner of FIBA 3x3 Challenge Yichang 2024 from Lithuania, Raudondvaris, Hoptrans. Number 5, Sarus Vinkelis. Number 3, the MVP, Evadus Zigui. Number 8, Modestus Gumpis. Number 7, Valerius Bugelis. 再次祝贺我们的运动队 ，Congratulations！ Congratulations, man! Such a great job. 那么至此呢，我们本站挑战赛也就要落下帷幕了。在此，感谢所有的工作人员。 我们的所有的志愿者辛勤2天的付出，我们第1天经历雨水，第2天沐浴烈日，最后完成了本次精彩的赛事。在宜昌，在秭归，我们背靠文化，面对美景，